Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. Do you save bread ends in your freezer? Here's a better way. All summer long, we do hot dogs, we do hamburgers. Well, not all summer long. And especially now when we're getting into bread baking season, I like to save all my bread ends and bread that's drying out in the freezer for things like meatloaf, bread pudding, and whatnot. But what I do is I throw all the crusts and stuff, the stuff that Howie doesn't like to eat, and I throw them in bags in the freezer. But right off the bat, now you don't throw them in there if they're moldy or anything like that, of course. I throw them in the freezer to prevent mold. But right now, somebody gave me this idea in our YouTube community to dehydrate the bread so that it stays shelf stable, just like bread crumbs. And it's always there when you need it, and it's not taking up freezer space, especially if your freezer breaks down. It happens, folks. If your freezer breaks down, you don't want to have to deal with a bunch of bread going moldy, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to start cubing this bread and putting it on dehydrator trays, and we're going to dehydrate it kind of like making croutons, only we're speeding up the staling process. And we're going to dehydrate our bread cubes for future use. Okay? Like Howie does not like the crust on homemade bread. Some of this bread's still frozen, which is perfect for getting it ready for dehydrating. You don't want your bread cube, you want it spread out really well. You don't want them lifting up the tray underneath. And don't think I'm gonna let these breadcrumbs grow to waste. I'm making meatloaf tonight. These breadcrumbs are gonna come into use, trust me. Nothing goes to waste. Now if you have crusts of homemade bread and they're thick, then just slice them a little or cut them up a bit smaller. I don't recommend seasoning them just because that's an added element you don't necessarily want. Doesn't hurt to give them a shake, to shake them crumbs down too. Especially with bread getting so expensive. Like I said, we'll be making our own because I'm no longer willing to pay $4 to $6 a loaf for decent quality bread that's still probably full of sugar and preservatives, right? That's for our meatloaf. I'm going to take this out to the porch and I'm going to put this on about 120 degrees until these are not, we don't want them toasted, we just want them dry. Doing bread. This is the bread. This was only on the dehydrator for a couple of hours, folks, and it's nice and crusty. So we're going to be putting most of these bread cubes. I don't know which one of you folks told me to do this, but I thought it was just so brilliant. Just going to fill up this jar with our bread cubes. It'll be ready for stuffing, bread pudding, meatloaf, for those times when Howie wants to see the bread in the meatloaf. I'm getting it all over the friggin' place here. Nice and crunchy and dry in a clean, dry jar. That'll be months in your pantry. This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying bread cubes in the pantry. What a great day. Take care. God bless.